Hello and welcome to Weekly Wisdom. My name is Mark Van Buren, and today I'd like to tell you a story of a Buddhist monk who lived in a cave. And one day, this Buddhist monk went out to get firewood, and when he came back to his cave, he saw that it was filled with demons. At first, he really wasn't sure what to do, so he started off by teaching them the Dharma, which is the teachings of the Buddha. So he got on his seat that was higher than him, and he started preaching the Dharma to these demons, with the hopes that they would learn something and maybe end up leaving. But of course, the demons could really care less about the teachings that he was giving. And with that, he got very frustrated and angry and started yelling at them and tried to chase them out of the cave. And they only grew bigger and began laughing at him, which infuriated the monk even more. So finally, the monk said, "You know what? It looks like you're living here now. I'm living here too. Let's just live here together." And with that, all of the demons disappeared except for one. This was a big, scary demon that didn't really want to go anywhere. So the monk went right up to that demon, opened his mouth, and put his head inside and said, "Fine, just eat me then." And with that, the demon disappeared. Now this is a great story that points directly to our practice. You know, whenever we have any difficulties, the first thing we want to do is kind of try and get rid of them. And even though his intention was good by teaching them the Dharma, teaching them about meditation and compassion and oneness and all of this stuff, behind that teaching was the hopes that it would disappear. Now, I know from my experience with certain feelings, I went to therapy to try to get rid of these feelings. I went to spiritual teachers and spiritual teachings with the hopes that one day I can get rid of these things. And this was a very subtle aversion and self-hatred. There was a part of me that I didn't like, that I didn't want to welcome into my being. So obviously that doesn't work. And what happens next? You get fed up, you get impatient, you get upset. I don't want this to be here. And then you start to get angry with yourself or angry at the emotion, and that's when a battle begins. And again, that really just makes the problems worse. And it wasn't until the monk finally just said, "You know what, you're going to be here, we might as well live together," that a lot of them eased up. And in my experience, when I first started practice, for many years actually, I had to deal with emptiness. And this emptiness, at first, I like to fill it up with exciting things, try to fill up the emptiness by, traveling, changing my majors at school, always doing something exciting. And if I could just hold on to exciting experiences, I wouldn't have to feel the emptiness anymore. But of course, exciting experiences are impermanent like everything else, and they didn't last. And after the excitement wore off, I was left with the emptiness again. So then I went on that journey of, trying to get rid of it, trying to talk it out. Again, it was good intentions, but the aversion was still there. Trying to remove what I didn't like was still there. It wasn't until I finally said, "You know what, I might feel this way for the rest of my life. You're here, let's just get to know each other." So I'd go for walks with my emptiness. I'd write music with my emptiness. I would meditate with my emptiness. And eventually, and I can't really pinpoint exactly when, but at some point, it just went away. And I really don't experience it anymore. But again, it wasn't until I said, "Yes, you're here, let's work with this," that happened. Otherwise, you're just going to be constantly battling these things. And there's never going to be any peace, and there's never going to be, or you're never going to give whatever it is a chance to express itself and move on. And then with the last demon, the monk put his head inside the mouth of the demon. And this is like completely surrendering to the difficult emotions or experiences that we can have. It's saying, "Just take me then." For people I work with that have anxiety, I'll tell them, invite the anxiety in, feel it fully. And they're like, "Oh," that's the last thing they want to do. They want to get rid of it, they want to fight it, they want to do whatever they have to so it's not there anymore. But that very aversion is what's causing them so much more problems. So when they can welcome it, it's like putting your head right inside that demon's mouth, and you say, fine, just eat me then, take me, be here. And with that, of course, it disappeared. Now in real life, you know, if you have anxiety or depression or grief, you can't just say, all right, come and be welcome here, and think it's magically going to disappear. It doesn't always work like that. But by opening up to it and easing into it, you'll find it becomes easier to sit with it, to be with it. It's not as scary, it doesn't last as long, and ultimately it will pass. It may come back to visit from time to time, and it's possible that with many years of practice, the emotion stops visiting at all, just like that last demon. So this week, really start to lean into your experiences that are uncomfortable, that scare you. Welcome them, allow them to be here. Stop fighting with yourself, and realize that once you accept something as being present in your life, that's when it becomes workable. But if you keep fighting it and fighting it, it's never going to be workable. It's just going to be something you're trying to remove. So welcome all things today, and this week, lean right into it and put your head right into the mouth of those places that scare you, the feelings that are uncomfortable, the difficult situations, and just see what happens. Explore it. So thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.